right, it is a big day today in the National Basketball Association. 11 games today in the NBA here on Saturday, February 8th. And today was supposed to be the debut of Luka Doncic as a member of the Los Angeles Lakers. That has been postponed till Monday, and I'll get to that entire circumstance that's going on with ESPN, the NBA, and the Los Angeles Lakers in a little bit, but the game of the day has to be the Battle of Texas. The Houston Rockets take on the Dallas Mavericks. Anthony Davis's debut as a member of the Mavs, and they're taking on currently the fourth best team in the Western Conference in Jalen Green, Alfred Sengun, and the Houston Rockets. So we've got 11 games today. We're going to talk about every single one of them like we've been doing all year long. And folks, before we get into the predictions, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for some more daily NBA predictions here on the channel. Also, make sure to go check out our college basketball best bets that were posted earlier today. We've got 10 of those today in college basketball. Make sure to check that video out. Link is in the description down below. Make sure to go check out our Super Bowl 59 prediction. Obviously, tomorrow's the Super Bowl between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. We predicted that game. That is linked in the description down below. And also, tonight is UFC 312. Duplessis versus Strickland for the middleweight championship in their rematch. Make sure to go check out that full card prediction video in the link down below. All right, we're going right into the biggest game of the day, I would say, Rockets and Mavs. I think ESPN would probably rather have this game right now instead of whatever they got left with between the Pacers and the Lakers. Again, we'll get to that in a minute, but for now, Rockets and Mavs. There's going to be an adjustment period. There has to be with Dallas, obviously. I mean, Anthony Davis making his debut tonight, and there is, I guess, now kind of some hype around Dallas, and there's some pressure around the Mavericks as well. That pressure that you need to get things done right now. You trade the face of the franchise. You trade the future and the present for AD, who's a big, right, who's going to help the team out right now. But what are the Mavs going to look like in 3 seasons, right? Obviously, I don't think anybody expects them to be title challengers in 3 years, even if they say for some miraculous reason they find a way to get Kevin Durant in the offseason. This is not a team that's expected to compete in about 3 years. But right now, it is it's winning time right now for Dallas. They're coming off that victory on the road over the Boston Celtics, and they are getting the Rockets at the absolute perfect time right now. Right when I came around on Houston, they were winning games, they were looking good. As soon as I came around to Houston, they finally go on that losing streak and on that skid that I expected them to go on all season long. In the entire calendar year of 2024 this season, I kind of always thought the Rockets were a little bit fraudulent. As soon as, again, I thought, you know what, Jalen Green's playing really well, Sengun's great, Amen Thompson's really developing, they start to falter, and now they've lost 5 in a row. This Houston team has lost to the Grizz, close game, but they lose to the Nets, lose to the Knicks, lose to the Nets again, and then just lost a game in Minnesota. The Rockets are not that far out from dropping into the play-in now. Sure, again, they're still 4 games up of the Clippers, who are in 7th right now, but this is a Houston team that is faltering right now, and they are losing basketball games. So this is the exact perfect time for Dallas to get them in a game where the Mavericks need to win. Now, their GM, Nico, he's getting death threats. He's hired private security around his house and for himself. I would assume he's going to be at this game in Dallas, and I'm interested to see what the crowd reception will be to Anthony Davis. I assume it's going to be positive because it's not AD's fault Luka's not here, obviously. Well, it kind of is because they wanted AD, but it's not like AD wanted to be in Dallas, right? I think the Mavs are going to be good. I don't think they're a top 5 team in the West, though. I still don't. Right now, again, I'm taking the Thunder over them. I'm taking the Lakers. I'm taking the Grizzlies. I'm taking the Nuggets. And I'll say I'm taking Minnesota in the playoffs over the Mavs. A healthy Minnesota team, sure, I would take the Timberwolves. The Mavs are going to be a team that's going to, again, they're going to be in the playoffs this season. They might get out of the play-in. We'll see. But I think in this spot, yes, they will get the Rockets. We'll see what Anthony Davis is like playing with Kyrie Irving. Obviously, it's going to be his first game. AD wanted to play the 4 for the Lakers, wanted the Lakers to go out and get a center. Well, the Lakers got Mark Williams, but instead of keeping AD, they give AD Daniel Gadford in Dallas, which, again, AD, that's what he wanted. I think he's going to be good in Dallas. Again, I just don't see this team winning a title. I think the Mavs win AD's debut. I think they get it done. I think they cover the 4.5 points as well here at home against the Houston Rockets. Let's go on to our next game. We go to the Staples Center, or Crypto.com Arena. We've got the Indiana Pacers versus the Los Angeles Lakers. For as much as I want the Lakers to win, I am a Lakers fan. I cheer for them every single night. I'm actually going with The favorites in this spot, I'm going with the Indiana Pacers. I'm taking the Pacers to beat the Lakers here on the road. The Lakers are in trouble tonight, or in this day game. It's a nationally televised game on ESPN, but ESPN bought this game. They originally were supposed to be doing, what game do they have? Do they have, I don't think they have Rockets Mavs. They had no games today, I don't think. Oh no, they had the late game with Utah, I believe. I think. Regardless. I think they have the Utah Clippers game later tonight. I think that was the original game today. But they put this game on early, obviously expecting it to be Luka's debut, and this is what the NBA got. They got a Lakers team that will not be playing Luka Doncic. Obviously, he's going to be playing on Monday. I'm going to that game, very excited. And a team that's not going to be playing LeBron James either. Now, this line has shifted a lot since I made the graphic 2 hours ago. I'm recording this video at about 1 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, obviously. And this line has now shifted to 4.5 for Indiana. I still think they cover. The Pacers will probably beat the Lakers down in this game. The Lakers are dealing with so many injuries. You know they're just getting primed and ready for that game on Monday, Luka's debut. Everyone's going to be watching. No LeBron, he's doubtful. AR might not play, he's questionable. Mark Williams is still questionable at the trade, coming together. I think they're going to wait for Williams to play, on Monday against Utah so he can make his debut alongside Luka, who obviously is not playing. So what are the Lakers going to be tonight? I don't know. It's going to be, Bronny's legitimately going to play big minutes. Bronny had a big night in the G League last night. Shout out to him, 28 points. But Bronny's going to be part of the rotation tonight. The starting lineup, you can expect, I'm going to say no AR. It will be Gabe Vincent, Shake Milton, Hachimura. They'll probably do this. Vincent, DFS, Hachimura, Vando, Jackson Hayes, which leaves you a bench unit of Shake Milton, Bronny James, Markieff Morris, Trey Jemison, and Christian Coloco. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's brutal. With all that being said, I'm taking Indiana. If the Lakers had LeBron, I'd still take the Pacers. I'd still take the Lakers. The Pacers are on the tail end of a very long road trip. They just came off that victory over the Clippers, and I keep trying to tell you guys how good the Indiana Pacers are. They've only lost 3 games in the calendar year: Cleveland, San Antonio, Portland. But if you've been paying attention, Portland is red hot right now. So honestly, the Pacers are a very good team. I expect them to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. We'll get to that eventually as the season goes on. But in this spot with a very injured Lakers team that is obviously just preparing for Monday to showcase Luka to everybody, the Indiana Pacers will go to Los Angeles and beat the Lakers. So give me Indiana to win and cover whatever the line is, probably 4.5. I'm still taking Indiana. Next up, we go to Orlando, Florida for the Orlando Magic and the San Antonio Spurs. Give me the Magic. Give me the Magic minus 1.5 here at home. Again, I feel like this line might shift as well, just because San Antonio is coming off of a second half of a back-to-back. Game winner last night by Miles Bridges in Charlotte to beat the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs now fall 5 games under 500. Huge night for Stephon Castle yesterday, obviously 33 points. But what will San Antonio be on a second half of a back-to-back? Against the Magic, who, yes, have been very shaky, but this is, again, a spot where they should excel in. Second half of a back-to-back for San Antonio. A team that will score, but this is against an Orlando team that should shut you down. Now, earlier in the year, I was campaigning for De'Aaron Fox to potentially get traded to Orlando. Now, I think the Magic's ideal future point guard should be Trae Young. I think that makes a lot of sense. You have a lot of great defenders on this team, and Trae Young can really take over scoring-wise and move the rock to both Wagner and Paolo Banchero. But Orlando's been struggling. They win that game in Sacramento on the 5th on Wednesday, but then they have the second half of a back-to-back where they lose in Denver. Now they return home. I like Orlando in this spot. Again, the Magic are not going to continue to suck this bad. Trust me, they have fallen now to the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. They are 25-28. They're not going to continue to be this bad. They have too many good players and too many good defensive guys to remain this bad. Obviously, this is a team that was the 5th seed last year, obviously, in the NBA playoffs on the Eastern side of things. They took the Cavs to 7 and ultimately lost. I think every single game was won by the home team in that series, if I'm not mistaken. But Orlando eventually should get things figured out. I think this is, again, they're trying to get back on the right track. This team will not remain, I believe, under 500 for much longer. I think they're going to start winning some games, and I think this is, again, the start of it. Give me Orlando to beat the San Antonio Spurs, especially with San Antonio coming off that loss last night, and, again, second half of a back-to-back for the Spurs. So give me the Magic to win at home and cover. Next up, we go to the nation's capital. We have got the Washington Wizards hosting the Atlanta Hawks. I will take the Hawks to win and cover whatever spread you throw their way. The Wizards' little insanity run, I think's over, but they were very competitive with the Cavs. They were up for a lot of that game, or at least tight with the Cavaliers for most of that basketball game. Obviously, in the fourth quarter, the Cavs did pull away, but hell, we told you the Wizards were going to cover that spread last night, and they did exactly that. Cleveland only winning the game by 10 points. This is the second half of a back-to-back for Washington. I know they're still at home, but I think the Hawks get them. And I get it, Atlanta played last night as well, but the Hawks feel like they're more equipped to win second halves of back-to-backs, unlike the Wizards. And I get it, Atlanta earlier in the season lost their first 2 games to the Wizards. It was pretty ridiculous. And they proceeded to lose again to the Wizards, I think, right? No, Denver lost to the Wizards. The Wizards played the Nuggets and the Hawks in back-to-back games. Regardless, the Wizards own the season series 2-1 right now over Atlanta. The Hawks will not lose again for a third time to the Wizards. Atlanta, again, another team, like I just said with the Magic, Atlanta will not continue to be this bad, right? They lost, 8 straight games, and they go to Detroit and win. They lose a very tight one in Atlanta against the Spurs. But then last night, Trae Young doing his thing, leading the Hawks to victory in a victory over the Milwaukee Bucks, right? That's what Trae Young's going to do for your team. Obviously, what does the long-term future look like for Trae Young? I don't think it's much more. I think, again, the Hawks are not going to be in a position to win with Trae. It's not his fault, obviously, but they're probably going to have to move him to a contender like the Magic. But I think they should win this game in Washington. The Wizards, again, they won 3 in a row. I feel like this little insanity run is kind of over now. We'll see what they're dealing with in terms of injuries with Chris Middleton, obviously, who just got here. Marcus Smart. I don't know who's going to play, but I think Atlanta should be able to get things done, even though, again, the Hawks did it nothing at the deadline except trade DeAndre Hunter, give Trae that much less help. That did not make sense, but give them, again, you lose DeAndre Hunter. Jalen Johnson's out for the season. So now Trae Young is going to have to carry this team to the play-in again, because that's where the Hawks are. They're never going to fall into the lottery. They're always going to be a play-in squad because of the way Trae's carrying them. Let's just be honest. And I don't know. The fact that this guy's not an all-star is a damn shame. Give me the Atlanta Hawks to go on the road and cover against the Washington Wizards. We move now to the United Center for the Chicago Bulls and the Golden State Warriors. Hear me out. Give me the Chicago Bulls at home. Yes, I know. Hear me out. I feel like the first game with Jimmy Butler is going to be rough. And again, we've said it before with the Warriors, and I'm going to say it again. I don't know if Jimmy Butler fixes their problems. Really, sure, he brings some defense to your team. Great. And I get it. Jimmy has never really been the best regular season player, but Jimmy looked a lot, I'm not going to say worse, but he didn't look like the same Jimmy this regular season than he had in regular seasons past. Again, Jimmy's always been a better playoff player, but this is a guy who's been averaging, 17 points a game this year in the regular season? And I get it. There's not been much motivation for Jimmy this regular season. He's been wanting out of Miami this entire year. But Jimmy's still been playing 30 minutes a night with Miami towards the tail end of his run, and he was not putting up big numbers. Now, obviously, again, it's going to be an expanded role for him here in Golden State, and you're going to need the defense out of both him and Draymond if the Warriors are going to win games. But I don't think this is a winning team at all. I think they're probably going to get into the play-in, but when you look at the Western Conference, who out the top 10 do you drop for the Warriors? Obviously, OKC, Memphis, Denver, Los Angeles, we can say probably won't be in the play-in. But then, all right, Houston, Minnesota, Clippers, Mavs, Suns, Kings. Who's the team you drop? Sacramento is going to have to be them, right? So, I mean, probably, the way I see it, one of Sacramento or Golden State are not going to make the play-in. It'll probably be Sacramento falling out, but I could see the Warriors just missing out in general as well. Again, Steph still does not have help. Curry, for as many points as he scored the other night in Los Angeles in their loss to the Lakers, Curry put up 30-something shots in that game. And sure, again, he scored 30, and trust me, 35. And trust me, I love Kobe Bryant, but that was, that was the numbers we'd see out of Kobe Bryant in his final season. I'm not saying, again, Steph's at that level yet, obviously, but that's kind of what Kobe did at the end of his career. He just chuck up a bunch of shots, and in the games where Kobe would score a lot, and be all right, he shot the ball 40 times, and Bryant puts up 33 points, right? I mean, hell, I didn't care. No Lakers fans cared that year. We knew the Lakers weren't going anywhere. They won 15 games that season. We were just there to watch Kobe one last time, But the Warriors aren't on that, 2015 Kobe level yet. That's not where they're 2016. They're not on that 2016 Lakers level, obviously. They're still trying to contend. And I'm not saying Curry's anywhere close to that. He's not. Curry, again, is still a very elite player in this league. But Steph will have his nights where he doesn't have the best shooting nights, obviously. I'm going to take Chicago to win. This is a big hear me out, but yes, I do think the Bulls are able to win this game. It's going to be a tough adjustment for the Warriors. You bring Jimmy Butler into this lineup. What is he going to be? This is a Chicago team that hasn't played in 3 days. They've had a long break going into this one. They are well rested, and I do think they're ready to run in this game. I like the Bulls here. Again, even without Zach LaVine, they have a starting lineup of Giddey, Ball, White, Dosunmu, and Vucevic, but that's a lineup that will play and currently has Chicago in the play-in. Now, again, we expect them to fall out eventually for the Philadelphia 76ers, but at this rate, who knows? Philly didn't look great last night in Detroit, so I don't know. I'm going to take Chicago to win. I think I really like the value here. We get the Bulls at what? Plus 6.5, plus 230. I'm willing to play it. Give me the Chicago Bulls at home to win and cover here against the Golden State Warriors. Next up, we go to Memphis, Tennessee. If it wasn't for AD's debut in Dallas today, this would undoubtedly be the game of the day. But we've got the Oklahoma City Thunder going on the road to take on the Memphis Grizzlies. My goodness, are the Thunder back? And, you know, they're 41-9. But getting Chet Holmgren back, and I know he didn't have that big of an impact last night. He's still obviously on a minutes restriction, but this team's just going to be so difficult when Chet's playing at an elite level again. I mean, Shea puts up 25. That's a bad night, honestly, for Mr. Consistency. Jalen Williams, another all-star, puts up 27. Aaron Wiggins had to start again with Lou Dort being injured. He drops 18 last night against the Raptors. I mean, this OKC team's just that good, man. They are a dominant team. As a Lakers fan, this is the team I'm scared of in the postseason. I'm scared of SGA. He's that good. This is a tough spot for them in Memphis, but I do still like the Thunder. These are obviously the two best teams right now in the Western Conference. Memphis is 35-16. They've been winning a lot of basketball recently, and that's all got to be credited to Jaren Jackson Jr. Yes, John Morant is very elite as well, but JJJ is the best player on the Mavericks, obviously averaging 24 points a game. The shooting has taken another step, and Jaren Jackson has just been that good for Memphis this season. And obviously, again, John Morant is an elite player in the league as well, but Jaren Jackson is the reason ultimately why they're winning basketball games. But you don't bet against the Thunder. Whenever you get the Thunder at odds like this, you take them. I get it, second half of a back-to-back, having to travel to Memphis after winning last night in OKC, and the Grizzlies have been off since Wednesday, where they went to Toronto. That's okay. The Thunder, again, they are that good. If it weren't for injuries, there's a chance the Thunder would be chasing that Warriors record of 73-9 this year. So I'm going to take OKC. I'm taking Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. His whole life is consistent. You know, it's just he can get to the rim against anybody, and I'm taking the OKC Thunder to win. Give me the MVP and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to go on the road to Memphis and win the basketball game. Again, the Grizzlies are great right now. They're scoring 130 plus in their last 4 games. It's a whole nother deal when you deal with the best defensive team in the league. And on top of that, you're playing the best player in the league in SGA. Give him the MVP. We move on to our next one as we go to Minnesota. As we've got the Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the hottest team in the NBA right now in the Portland Trail Blazers. I know we're taking them out of the Rose Garden. We're taking them out of Portland. We're still taking Portland. Still going with it. And I know they have now won 10 of their last 11 games, with the only loss being to the Oklahoma City Thunder. The win on Thursday at home against the Sacramento Kings. They keep on finding ways to win to the Trailblazers, and we're taking them to go to Minnesota and pick up a victory. Now, this winning streak will likely end eventually very soon. They have back-to-back road games in Denver. I don't expect them to sweep that against the Nuggets. I think they can probably steal one. Getting both, that's going to be brutal, right? That's going to be a little rough. But right now, we're going to keep rolling with the Blazers. They're not that far out of the postseason now, guys. They have the same record, basically, as the San Antonio Spurs. They are 2 games out of the play-in, are the Portland Trailblazers. Watch out. This team is on fire. Anfernee Simons has been great. Deni Avdija has taken that next step. DeAndre Ayton's been playing much improved basketball, and their 2 guards off the bench in Shaedon Sharpe and Scoot Henderson, who has made that next leap in his second season, have been excellent this season as well. The Blazers are on right now, and they are on fire. They go to Minnesota to take on a Timberwolves team who has won back-to-back games, right? We talked about that Rockets victory the other night and the Bulls as well, but 2 games prior to that, they lost at home to the Wizards and the Kings. This is a beatable team. Why? Because it takes for an extraordinary effort out of Anthony Edwards for them to win a basketball game. Ant with 90 combined points in his last 2 games, 49 against the Bulls, 41 against the Rockets. And sure, they win both those games, but that's kind of the type of night Ant needs to have for the Timberwolves to be all that successful. And that's, again, without Julius Randle right now, without Dante DiVincenzo, and with injuries all around, the lineup. That's kind of the efforts they need out of a nightly basis out of Anthony Edwards. And is questionable for this game due to right hip soreness. If he does not play, absolutely hammer the Blazers. I'm serious. Okay, I wouldn't say that. Don't get carried away. But still, I love the Blazers if Ant doesn't play. Because you probably get this one at about even money. My goodness, yes. The way the Blazers are playing right now, they are going into Minnesota, beating the Wolves without Randle, DiVincenzo, and Edwards, and potentially Mike Conley as well. Even with Ant, though, I'm still taking the Blazers. This team is playing lights out, they play solid defense, and they've been finding ways to score, again, with Simons, with Adjiva, with Henderson, with DeAndre Ayton. Kamara hasn't been playing all that badly either. Robert Williams has stepped up as well. I really like the Blazers right now. I'm taking them as dogs here, even with Anthony Edwards scheduled to play. I don't care. I'm taking plus 5.5 for the Blazers. I'm taking plus 195. Let's keep cashing on the Portland Trail Blazers. How far will they go? I don't know. Again, they go to Denver on Monday and Wednesday, but for now, hell, let's keep on going. Give me the Portland Trail Blazers on the road in Minnesota against the Minnesota Timberwolves. We move on to Madison Square Garden for the New York Knicks and the Boston Celtics. I mean, there are some good games today in the NBA. This is another one on national television tonight on ABC. We're taking the Knicks. We're taking Tom Thibodeau in a big regular season game, right? I mean, again, these games just mean something else for the Knicks. This means everything for New York basketball, obviously. They're 34-17. I think they win this game. Boston coming off a home loss the other night to the Dallas Mavericks. And don't get me wrong. In a 7-game series, who is winning, the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks? You know damn well the Celtics are winning in the postseason. I'm not hating on the Knicks. I'm just being honest with you guys. I don't know. Well, actually, now I do know who can beat the Boston Celtics in the East. It's the Cavs. That DeAndre Hunter move, oh man, that's big time. You can't target Darius Garland on defense anymore, or you can't target him at the end of games. You take Garland out at the end of the game, at end of game situations. My goodness. Put DeAndre Hunter on the court. That's a good defensive unit. I'm just saying. The Cavs, again, that DeAndre Hunter move was huge. That makes them, again, a very scary team. Cleveland, Boston, top 2, and then, hey, watch out for the Pacers. I'm just saying. They've got playoff experience. I think there's a much better chance the Pacers end up in the finals than the New York Knicks. The Knicks are going nowhere in the postseason. Great regular season team, horrible postseason team because they will be drained. Now, again, hey, their guys are going to play 40-plus minutes tonight, and they will beat the Celtics, and I'll be like, oh, wow, everyone's going to be so excited. Look at the Knicks. They're beating the Celtics. Just wait and see what happens in the playoffs. Just wait. Taking New York, though. I'm not a hater on Jalen Brunson. I like Brunson a lot. I like Cat. I like the starting lineup. I just don't think that they're that successful of a playoff team. I think they win this game, though. Boston coming off a loss. I think New York's able to get off to a hot start and able to stay ahead early, so I will take the New York Knicks to get things done here. But again, down the stretch, I'm not that big of a fan of them. For now, though, I will take the Knicks to win at home at MSG against the Celtics. I am surprised they are underdogs. I get it's probably with the injuries, but I think we're expecting Jalen Brunson to play. Brunson's not even on the injury report. It's Cat's probable, though. Adenubi probably still not back, but Josh Hart's playing, so I think the Knicks will be fine. Give me New York as dogs at home to beat the Boston Celtics. We go to Phoenix. The Suns played an adventurous game last night against the Utah Jazz. Grayson Allen with a huge 3 to send that game into overtime. And then obviously the Suns take care of business in OT, winning the game by 8 points over Utah. But Phoenix is just a troubling bunch right now. Obviously they were dealing with injuries last night. No Bradley Beal, no Kevin Durant. Let's see if they play tonight against Denver. Again, sometimes when guys miss the first half of a back-to-back, they are preparing for the more challenging game, which is the Denver game. So possibly in the last time these two teams met in Phoenix, it was that game on Christmas where the Suns got the better of Denver, winning that one. And again, that's what Denver, a game like that the Suns played on Christmas is what hurts the Nuggets. They don't play defense. They are a horrible defensive unit, but they've been able to pick up wins against bad teams recently. They beat the Hornets, Sixers, who were dealing with injuries, obviously, at the time. Pels, Magic, right? I mean, these are teams that Denver is supposed to beat. And Michael Porter Jr.'s emergence recently as a big-time scorer for this team, putting up 30 points a night, has been crucial. And again, if they can continue to get that output out of MPJ every single night, my goodness, yeah, the Nuggets are even more scarier. Again, though, it's their defense. They give up a lot of points. And I think Phoenix should be able to score tonight as well. But who's been playing like the better team recently? It is most definitely the Denver Nuggets. I think they should be able to go into Phoenix and win. They are dealing with injuries, potentially no Jamal Murray, no MPJ, no Aaron Gordon. Russell Westbrook obviously out for a couple weeks, it seems like right now. If MPJ doesn't play, I'd be a little bit concerned with the Nuggets. But at the same time, we don't know who's playing for the Suns. Will Durant play? Will Beal play? Who knows? A lot of question marks. Again, personally, I'd stay away from the game, but if I had to make a pick, obviously, I'm taking the Denver Nuggets to go on the road, getting their get back for Christmas, and taking down the Phoenix Suns. We move on to our next one. In Sacramento, California, we've got the New Orleans Pelicans going to California's capital to take on the Sacramento Kings. I think the Kings bounce back here. Again, I'd stay away personally, but Sacramento with back-to-back victories over the Portland Trail Blazers and the back-to-back losses, on back-to-back nights to Orlando at home and then in Portland against the Blazers. This team has won 1 out of their last 5, with the only victory being on the road in Minnesota. I don't know if the Kings are a serious, well, they're not, we know they're not a serious threat. I don't know if they're going to make the play-in, because we talked about it earlier. Again, there's going to have to be one pretty decent team in the West that is going to miss the play-in altogether, and I think right now, if I had to guess, it's either Sacramento or Phoenix, but I have to assume Phoenix is going to figure things out, so I'm going to say Sacramento misses in favor of the Warriors, but I think the Warriors are probably a one and done in the play-in anyway. Hell, you give me the Warriors and the Suns in a winner-go-home 9-10 matchup, I'm taking Phoenix at home in Phoenix. The Suns are better than the Warriors. They just are. I think so. In one game, yeah, I'm taking the Suns. Again, anything can happen, but I take the Suns. The Pels are just bad. They trade Brandon Ingram. Okay. Zion Williamson has to be next, I think, right? Again, the Pels are probably going to have to completely just restart, and I think Zion's going to have to be that guy who's going to have to get shipped off. So again, that's meaningless right now because New Orleans is not a playoff team. They are 12-39, and I think Sacramento gets them here. They are still looking for a victory with Zach LaVine. They are 0-2 in the LaVine era, and I think this is where they get one. But again, what will the Kings be this season? I don't know. I think they have an easier schedule, I believe, than the Warriors down the stretch, so maybe they do get in the postseason or in the play-in at least. But we'll see. I'm not sold on the Kings yet. Again, high-powered offense, obviously. But some nights when they are off, and when you rely on DeMar DeRozan to lead your offense sometimes, that's just not very Sacramento Kings-like. It is a stark contrast from when De'Aaron Fox was leading the charge in Sacramento, again, during the peak of the light the beam, movement. So I don't know what Sacramento is going to be down the stretch. I think they win this game, though. I think they cover against the Pelicans. They are in need for a big victory. The Pels have not been hot at all. Sacramento is going to run away with this one at home. Give me the Kings to win and to cover the 6.5 points they are getting as well at home in Sacramento. We go on to our final game of the day, the nightcap, and we go to Inglewood for the Los Angeles Clippers and the Utah Jazz. Clippers should blow out Utah here. 13.5 points is the line, I believe. I expect the Clippers to run away with this one. I know they've lost 3 in a row, but Utah just played an overtime game last night down in the desert in Phoenix. This is where they get blown out, the second half of the back-to-back. Again, this is a Utah team that is normally always injured. How they released Jalen Hood-Schifino, which is something. That's great. I don't know. I mean, maybe Hood-Schifino ends up back with the Lakers. Probably not. Anyways, the Jazz still, again, the rule with Utah is that they always have 5 guys on the injury report at a minimum, and that's exactly what they have. Obviously, Taylor Hendricks out for the year, Sexton out for a couple weeks, probably no Jordan Clarkson tonight, Cody Williams is still out, KJ Martin probably still out after just being traded to Utah. That's just what the Jazz are. They're very injured. They've got good players that they decided we're not going to get rid of. We're going to keep all of these guys, Markkanen, Kessler, Collins. We're going to keep all these guys around with the young players like Collier, Keontae George, Sensabaugh, Filipowski, which is fine, but what is the long-term direction of the Utah Jazz? I don't know. Mediocrity forever. Again, they'll be in the lotto this season. Maybe they land Cooper Flagg. We'll see. They're not going to stay competitive with the Clippers. This is a get-right spot for Los Angeles. They've been very bad recently. I believe they're going to be fully healthy going into this one. They just traded for Bogdanovic, obviously, from Atlanta. I'm not going to play this game, but it's fine, right? Kawhi's supposed to give it a go. Norman Powell, who should have been an all-star this season, and the Clippers' actual all-star, and James Harden is playing alongside, again, Ivica Zubac. I think the Clippers win this one. I think they run away with this game against Utah. If I'm not mistaken, the Clippers blew them out the last time they played. I could be wrong. Or that was Atlanta. No, that was Utah. Yeah, no. Monday, December 16th, 144 to 107. And that was without Kawhi, even though Kawhi has not made the biggest difference yet this season for the Clippers, if we're being honest. But still, I feel like we get something like that initial matchup that the Clippers and Jazz played earlier in the year. I think it's a blowout. I think the Clippers completely run away with this game. I just don't think Utah is going to be able to keep up on a second half of a back-to-back on tired legs. So with all that being said, I'm going to take the Los Angeles Clippers to win at home, finally winning their first game in the month of February after 3 straight losses to the Raptors, Lakers, and on Thursday against the Indiana Pacers. So folks, thank y'all for watching our NBA predictions here for Saturday, February 8th. If you have not yet though, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video, and make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.